Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Underground stream. We're going to be talking a little bit of Monarch Ep.5. We're going to be talking about some Cancel Pigs, some of the stuff that went down with Mark Millar, the creator of Kick-Ass, Kingsman, and all these other projects. Guy's super rich. He sold all of his stuff over to Netflix, and they've been making shows and stuff out of his properties. While he was talking about comic books, and this guy defended a comic shop owner who was flipping out about the horrible stuff that's going on in Marvel and DC. So, and then the Cancel Pigs tried to come after him. So, we will get into some of that stuff as well, because I thought it was a pretty interesting topic.
I don't know. Somebody needs to talk to me about this, because I'm pretty sure we don't have a division of Cancel Pigs. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know who is spreading these rumors.
It's the oink oink, not the squeak squeak.
Yeah, it's these Cancel Pigs, you know. They're behind a computer somewhere, you know.
I don't like white mouths. Let's cancel them.
So we're gonna get into some of that tonight. Which, like I said, it's an interesting conversation and something that leads into something bigger, I think, anyway, regarding some of the stuff we do talk about from time to time, with entertainment and how things have just kind of been controlled and destroyed and everything else. So it'll be interesting for sure, I think. And we're gonna get into the McFarlane situation too at Hasbro, because Hasbro they're laying off 1,100 people, and it looks like another 1,100 next week. Mm-hmm. So that company's on the ropes due to their own stupidity. It's interesting stuff. And of course, Alex Jones, because he is back on Twitter and he's been stirring the pot, and people, not people, more of the Cancel Pigs are very upset by that as well. So a few topics to hit tonight, so it'll be good. We're going to say hello to everybody first. We got Tommy the Guinea Pig Collective in the house. How you doing, Tommy?
I would like to say good, but not really.
Okay. Well, I think we're all having problems here. Someone just left, so internet problems for sure. Let me say a quick hello to Trina. How you doing, Trina?
I'm well. Happy to be here. Happy Friday to everybody.
Happy Friday. Oh, Monotony says Alex Jones is woke. That was great. Glad to have you on. We also have Tina Bojan in the house. How you doing, Tina?
I'm doing well and happy to be here and hang with you guys and not talk about programming a website for a couple hours.
Oh, you've been programming websites? I got to get you on one for me. No, I'm kidding.
Oh God, I wish I knew enough to help you. I've been learning a new tool that's basically just a clone of a website that we're going to use for training, and it's a PETA, I can tell you.
Wow, nice.
So
let's say a quick hello to superfan Adam Shawhan. How you doing, buddy?
Oh man, it's we had the great weenie adventure escape, and they were running all over the freaking place, and that was like 5 minutes ago before I jumped on here. I had them here, I had them there, I had them everywhere, but It was still better than having the cancel swine, if you will. But yes, they were upstairs, they were downstairs, they were just all checking everything out, and that was after the Frank attack. Frank decided he was going to try to be Big Bad Frank and got his ass kicked. It was kind of funny. Aww. And the brother and sister team, and I am not trying to rhyme, I promise. This is not wrote down. I am fucking high as hell and standing in the kitchen. See, not wrote down.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, man.
New look.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, look, I'm a transformer, but I had issues last night with the internet myself. But yeah, the brother and sister team kicked Frank's ass. They pinned him down and didn't let go. I finally got him separated, and everything's fine. Everybody's been moved. We're good here. We're fine. How are you?
It was a boring conversation anyway. Kid, we got to go. It's always a blast having you on, Adam. And, of course, we have Chris Fisk in the house. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I guess after today, it's official. You can say Merry Christmas because there's no other real holidays.
Oh, this is the last day of Hanukkah?
Yep.
Well, happy Hanukkah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. No more of that PC bullshit.
He's like, now we can say Merry Christmas. The
Yep.
Jew wants to yell Merry Christmas from the mountaintops. Let him, damn it.
Well, isn't that sad? Like that it takes a Jew to like scream that because it's like, dude, take your country back. Like we say Happy Holiday. No, we don't. You say that.
But we can't. We've only cleared Chanukah. We still have Ramadan and Kwanzaa and all that other shit to deal with.
Yeah, all of that made up stuff. Yeah, sure.
I'm surprised the Transformers haven't come up with one yet.
Oh my! Well, they do. Don't they have like? Well, I know they have like a whole month of it now. They have like remembrance and stuff.
What?
Yeah, dude, like, and not only that, like the June. You know how they ruined? Was it June? I think like the whole Rainbow Reich with June.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they have like other holidays in like October and shit.
Oh yeah, there's
bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Thank you.
Yeah,
True.
Trans Awareness Week.
Trans coming out day.
Yeah,
exactly.
They literally have an advent calendar throughout the year of fucking holidays.
I mean, what's next? The transition day?
They have that.
Listen, I just want to know when it's Autobot Day and Decepticon month.
Yeah.
All right? That's the only thing I want to know.
When do we get our blasters, man?
Yeah.
Soon.
It's all about Bumblebee.
Right? But hey, we also got the Doc in the house. High fives, Doc. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty special. Now that I got my machine rebooted and the swirl of death on my connection has stopped.
Oh, nice.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, I had it last night during the toy stream. So
what? Sorry.
I feel your pain. I had that happen to me last night during the toy stream.
Yeah, they have a shot for that, Vinny.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'll give you a shot.
Yeah, you know what? Anytime you need healthcare advice, and Tommy's right, we got a shot for it. Starts with a 44, we can end with a 38. I mean,
okay.
we'll get you
aim
covered.
in the direction of the Cancel Pigs. But in the meantime, let me say hello to everyone in the chat. We have Papa Cotton in the house. How you doing, Papa? Toy Mafia. William Palmieri. How you doing, buddy? Always great seeing you. Iceman Modeler. How you doing, man? I gotta do that thing on Facebook still. Yeah, he was sending me a couple of groups to jump onto and try to pimp my stuff. It's been another long week for sure. Tommy's been saying hi to everybody. Bad Take Bojan. Keely Chow's in the house. How you doing, man? Dark Side is comics. We got Marinus. What's up, buddy? Monotony. He likes the Margot Robbie dancing, which is always good. Hell yeah, I'm a fan myself of her dancing. We had Adam saying hi to everybody, so that's a good thing too. Decepticon's Cave, what's up, man? Always good seeing you. He got the creature from the Black Lagoon, Leo. He traded 2 days, or no, he traded it for 2 toys. Nice. Well, that's good. Yeah, I want to see this thing in person. I haven't had a chance to yet. Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a crazy time. And I think YouTube is messing with me again as well. I'm seeing weird fluctuations going on here with my numbers, like the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 streams now. It's crazy.
I really thought you were going to say you've seen all kinds of weird fluctuations.
Yeah, that too.
Bullshit. It's all bullshit.
I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I'm running on fumes right now, folks. Might have to take a break soon. It's yeah. Oh my God, it's like never ending. But you know what? We're gonna talk about Monarch first. So let's get into that. Yeah, Tommy or Trina. Anyone want to lead this one off? This was episode 5 we had watched.
I mean, for me, I felt like this episode actually was a bit of a downgrade.
Mm-hmm.
To what we got to with the previous 2 episodes. I don't know. I mean, it really felt like the whole thing was just ramping up, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like it just walled on this one. And I'm not saying this is the worst episode in the world. It's not, but it really did feel like a downgrade from the last episode. It was more. It was probably more character development than I really cared to see, quite honestly. And it, yeah, I don't know. Am I the only one that felt that way?
No.
No,
Trina was saying it too. Yeah, go ahead, Trina.
Yeah. I agree. I felt like this was a little bit of a filler episode. We did find out that the mom didn't know about the affair.
Yeah.
So, because we were wondering about that, we thought that maybe she knew more than she was letting on.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did find out about that. But yeah, overall, it was kind of like a filler episode. But you're going to have those.
Of course. And yeah, they wanted to establish her character a little bit too, the mother, since they were talking about her in the other episodes, those weird phone calls. And she's like part of like a team that they could actually go to like the attack sites where Godzilla kind of rampaged through. So yeah, that was interesting and kind of what they did because they had to get to the Asian dude, the father there who went missing. They had to get to his other office to see what other information he had there, and they found like kind of like a key piece of information that could kind of possibly lead them to where he might be and where these other kaijus are. So I felt like that was kind of like the only purpose of this episode, and they dipped a little bit into Monarch. It's still very strange that we don't know too much more about them. Yeah, Kurt Russell's character, that was like he said like they shouldn't even exist anymore, basically. So it's
that was actually a discussion that somebody else had brought up. Like he's way too old.
Yeah,
they hint at why. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he should be like around 90 or so, and he doesn't look it at all. And they're thinking it could be some kind of the effects from some of the kaiju that he was near. We don't know the full story yet, or if they're gonna get into it or keep it vague. I don't know yet. But yeah, I am interested to see kind of where they're gonna go with that. What's up, Planet Tobor? Hope you're doing well. Thank you again for last night. That awesome super chat. We also have Tolbat in the house. Oink oink, man. Yeah, these. We're gonna say that one for Rumble. If you're free and you want to pop in here, I'll drop you a link to, buddy. But yeah, freedom of speech is like it's practically gone. It's scary what's been going on, and he keeps encountering more and more douchebags on these websites. So between YouTube and Twitter, yeah, things are just getting ridiculous, like really ridiculous. Oh, I forgot you got the Oprah icon. I was looking for his other one. There you go. There's a link. So if you want to pop in, you could. But yeah, it's crazy. I just searched for their Tommy.
I'm always causing trouble somewhere,
right? But yeah, man, I agree. This it was a weaker episode for sure. I don't know how much more you want to say about it because it wasn't really much that happened.
I'm really hoping that what we're going to get in the next episode is a bounce back because it does seem like every time we get one of these episodes that's just not as good because we've had a couple now. It seems like the next couple usually ramp back up again.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that's the direction it's going to go again because again, the last two episodes were great, especially the very last one. 4 I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one just to kind of drop off. The other thing is you knew they were going to go there with her character. That she was from San Francisco, so she was flying the flag and everything.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna wait and see if the next one's really weak. I don't know what to say because how many episodes is this thing? 8 or 10?
I think it was 10. I think.
Oh, well, hopefully they're not just dragging it out. We need to get to some more stuff. I'm getting little bits of information. That's fine, but have something bigger happen in the episode. We need something more, especially with these because they reuse the same footage from like was the first episode or a little bit more of that attack that Godzilla was having to show like the growing.
11. It looks like.
Oh, 11? Okay.
Yeah, there'll be 11 episodes. So season 1, episode 11 is called The Last Dance, and that's the last one I see they have listed.
Okay. hopefully be all right. And I hope.
Wait a minute, that's not right.
What?
They got it mixed with something else here on this site. Never mind.
Well, no worries then. But yeah, I guess we could start pivoting into the other conversations then, since the people on panel haven't been watching, and it wasn't a monumental one. Okay. Oh shit. So yeah, who wants to talk about Cancel Pigs?
Yeah,
I only learned about them recently.
Yeah. Well, I think the term
I need
was.
more story.
Well, I think it was officially coined by this man here, Mark Millar. He's a Scottish creator. He's actually the guy who wrote the original story of Civil War in the comics, which is the best-selling trade paperback. So this guy's got great royalties there. He's doing awesome by selling his rights pretty much to all those projects he's created. He is a fantastic writer, and he is a very nice guy as well. He's somebody who wants to see the industry doing better all around, and he's getting sick of this shit too, where he sees both sides fighting against one another. Because let's face it, in comics, it is just like politics. It's like the extreme right and the extreme left. It's something along those lines, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's extreme right on the indie side. There's a lot of fake people who are pretending to be right-leaning so that they could get these sales and stuff, but they like to drum up shit. And they use the same exact tactics that the left use. And like I said, this guy, he defended a comic shop owner because he was sick of it. There's a guy who was complaining about how these books are doing horribly. He can't sell these things. The storylines are shit. They're pushing all these weird views in it. And he saw this guy getting dogpiled by the mainstream. The mainstream's going, no, sales are up. We're doing great, blah, blah, blah. No, they are not. Sales are completely down. Everything's falling apart. And to prove it, he had a full conversation with that guy, but then he had another conversation with 3 other comic shop owners who, between the 3 of them, own about 20 shops. And they're in different parts of America. And they broke down what was going on. They broke down the numbers. It was a really good conversation. It was an adult conversation. And, nobody was kind of like, they weren't really pulling punches. Although I think you might have a little more information of what's going on behind the scenes, because one of the comic shop owners says, how could they continue to put this stuff out there? Everyone's losing money. They're hemorrhaging money. What do they have, like private investors and stuff? And he pretty much confirmed it.
Vinny, I think I'll there's some people that just missed the point on this stuff, like why people are talking about this and why these comic book shop owners are so pissed off. Mm-hmm. And I know you get some of these, you get some people that just say, well, they just need to change everything that they have in their stores. That is not really a viable solution for a lot of these guys, because what they don't understand is, and I know this just because I had my friend Chad that runs a comic book shop, still over there in Trenton, mm-hmm. But they don't realize that they get locked in deals with these big mainstream comic book publishers, mm-hmm. and that they have to buy a certain amount of books every month. They are literally locked into contracts, and there's mm-hmm. no way out for a lot of these comic book shop owners. Mm-hmm. So when they're getting fucked over like this, they're getting fucked over like this whether they like it or not.
Oh yeah, and they're forced to get like those variant cover things too, which are like 1 in 25 or 1 in 100 type things, and so they're stuck with all this extra crap that they can't move. And they were talking about that, and again, they lie about their numbers in the industry. The 3 shops, one of them is one in Florida, Coliseum of Comics or something along those lines, and the guy was saying the same deal. He said that the numbers, they're like 17% down at one company, 23% down in another. I think Boom Studios is down 80%. It's ridiculous. And that's just with like kind of like their fudge numbers. He goes, the actual numbers are close to like 23% and like 30%. So that they dropped. So it comes down to a lot of craziness that's going on, and the gaslighting and the dogpiling by these companies and some of the creators behind the companies, because they will attack the retailers.
I would say it's not just comics. Like I know we're talking about comics, but like every entertainment media has been infiltrated by bad actors. And I had made a post about this 2 days before Mark Waid literally said what I said, which was these parasites have latched onto these industries and they are willing to ride this sinking ship to the bottom of the sea if necessary. And that's exactly what Waid said. He's like, look, man, I'd rather see this industry burn to the ground than, reconcile or whatever, basically acquiesce to the alt writers. Because apparently everybody that dislikes rainbow crap and like all the garbage
they're
that's
called
destroyed our
Yahtzees
comics.
and
we're all like
label.
Yeah, and somebody made a good point where they're like, how come right wingers are always referred to with like a prefix like far right or alt righters or or something where it's like you know what I mean? You never hear like the political right or it's always this like weird extreme demonization.
It's Marxism tactics. I mentioned this yesterday on the Toy Stream a little bit too, and you're 100% right because I said that. Something he said that they do have kind of like the private funding thing, but yeah, it's also government loans and things of that nature. Because again, it's all systematic. Marvel, Disney, all that stuff is tied together. The crap that they're pushing on us is all tied together. So yeah, they're not just going to destroy one part of the business. They want to push the stuff in all of it. And you're 100% right. Someone like Waid, who is a multimillionaire from all the stuff that he's done, all the royalties he's been getting. He is a talented writer. He's done some very big books, but at the same time, we know for a fact he's attacked people, not just alt writers or whatever. He's attacked people who have been black, Asian, male, female, doesn't matter, because the guy's a lunatic.
Well, they're the black face of white supremacy. I mean, and that's the thing is like, as much as we're calling out Waid, like, dude, I watched this I watched this happen firsthand in the video game industry. Every studio that I worked in was ignited and no longer exists. The only one that's still around is Ubisoft. And it's you get these bad actors that get in there, and then they get their buddies in there, and then they turn these like little mean girls, like hostile work environments. They chase away anybody worth a damn. Like Blizzard is scorched earth. And then look at Hasbro, dude. I found out the other day that Mike Merles, the one of the big designer guys, literally lived across the street from me as a kid. And like, yeah, he's down, dude. They sacked him. And the more I looked into it, the more I saw that it was like a lot of these people that they let go. We're talking like the 1,100 and then another 1,100, so like 2,200 people gone. They're not sacking the decision makers. They're not sacking the executives that push this shit. They're sacking the talented people who've actually, busted their ass, like their product or not. It's not their decision,
Oh, 100%, because that's what they do in this industry.
Yep.
It's just what it is, and it's really gross. They gatekeep.
Evil.
Well, yeah, they gatekeep. They don't want real talent in there. They want to keep their less talented people around.
Yeah. 2 weeks before Christmas, dude. Like,
well, the what do you call it? I know the kids' book market is the same way. It's even more cutthroat because they know how much money that those books bring in. So they don't want people. They have to be greenlit. They had to be approved by their like little committee of douchebags. I was gonna say, there's a journalist named Penny Parker. She's the one that broke the story with the Whisper Network. What was going on with Marvel and DC. So they basically, there was like a Facebook group that all the female writers and a lot of like those cuck writers were in, that they were systematically destroying comics. They were making sure that again, like the females were writing these male characters and they don't know how to do it. They don't know the male fantasy type thing and how to make the hero good. So they would destroy the male hero and all that stuff. But they systematically in this group were saying how they were going to cancel people, how they don't like, well, they label things misogynistic, even if it wasn't. And they try to pick fights with certain individuals so that they would get a male response that was a little extra extreme so that they could cry about it. And she exposed this whole group. And it's really funny too. Yeah, because it looks like there's also more proof of like certain agencies that were paying these people to do these attacks. Like if anyone remembers that Remfamous thing, She was someone who was in politics, who was fighting on behalf of the left, and then she got hired by Marvel and specifically Joe Quesada to destroy and to attack anyone and everyone related to certain comic book groups. It's really gross how this is, but yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it's proven stuff. There's multiple ones who were doing the same thing, and it looks like they were getting paychecks to do it and promises, and that Penny Parker called her out as well by her real name, Lauren, and she says that she goes, you were promised you were going to work in the industry, but guess what? Joe's not there anymore. He got fired. So it's all empty promises. You're despised even amongst your own. Like, it was great. She really ripped into her because nobody wants to see this happening. These are established characters that kids look up to, role model type things, and things that kids need good messaging. And they shot all over it. And
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, even the big picture here, take out of the context of the content. These are American jobs that are just being obliterated.
Yeah.
These comic companies, dude, like, I mean, the amount of money that they generated and put into our economy is insane. And now it's all gone and it's circling the drain. Same thing with Hasbro, same thing with Blizzard, same thing with all these companies are, I'm not going to say it on YouTube, but like, this is economic, like, sabotage. Like,
it is,
as much as we want to say it's demoralization propaganda, which it also is, I'm really worried about the fact that all of the businesses, all of the revenue, and all of the sub companies that are dependent upon these businesses are just flatlining now, and there's no replacements.
Yeah.
And nobody wants entertainment anymore. Like, I mean, you guys are talking about Monarch, but like, we're all in our 40s and shit. 20-somethings aren't watching this. They're watching TikTok. They're watching Chinese demoralization propaganda. So some fat them can tell you about how they got Zer's cervix removed or whatever. And here it is in the jar.
You know what, Krista? I mean, here's the thing, though. You always got to remember this. Everything comes full circle. It always comes back around again. So for all the people that don't want it now, at some point, it's going to come back around again. It always does.
But what will the industry look like then, though?
I mean that
look at the Holocaust. I mean, it came around.
Well, it could be a whole new industry build up again. It doesn't just because Hasbro or some of these other companies die off for whatever reason doesn't mean that there isn't anything or anyone that has the ability or a group of people to create something new.
But like, here's the thing: is these big companies aren't just killing the industry. They're killing consumer confidence and interest as well.
There are
people now who are like, I don't care about comics anymore. They're dumb. And
you know what? I don't completely agree with that, because you say that, and you could say it's in the movie industry or what have you. But then when the stars come out, where you see something like Godzilla Zero, Top Gun Maverick, who is it? Ripa. People are waiting for it. It's not that it's destroyed. It's just people are holding back, waiting for what's good.
Yeah, I wish I could agree with that, but it's like watching like an engine peter out. Like, sure, you'll get a few sparks here and there before the engine eventually stops, but like, there is a genuine decline in interest in a lot of Western products now.
I'd say there definitely points to both sides, and to Chris's point, he's not wrong, because there's a lot of creators, like myself included, we've become so jaded with the characters and the companies that we love and we grew up with that inspired us to do what we're doing, and just to see how nasty they truly are, it's demoralizing on every level, So even if they fall apart, it's like, who really has the money right now to buy those certain properties? Who could make it better or whatever? Because we have our own, but the thing is, and this is what the comic shop owner said too, because they go, is it better if Marvel and DC fall apart? And they all said no, because they still bring in the foot traffic.
Yeah, they do.
And if that foot traffic's not there, they're not going to sell those other comic books and those other projects. And I could confirm that as well, because when I was doing the convention scene, if I didn't have prints of Marvel and DC shit, I wasn't really moving anything else. It's when that stuff moved, then they'd be interested. Oh, what else you got? You do have your own comic? Okay. But otherwise, if it's just your own stuff, it's a harder sell completely. most people, because again, the movies, and shows, and all that stuff, especially at the time, people were hungry for it. Things have changed in a massive way, and it's sad, but yeah, they're demoralized. Look at what they had done. Hold on, I'll show this. I think he showed it.
Well, I mean, that goes back to some of the stuff we were talking about with the entertainment industry as far as movies. Like, why did Disney want Lucasfilm in its entirety? It wasn't just because of Star Wars. They wanted everything that Lucasfilm had their hands in, whether it was the lights and sound, whether it was the gaming industry to eventually sell off. They wanted everything as a whole. They didn't just want the IPs. And the biggest reason is because Lucasfilm itself is a recognizable brand. That was why they wanted it. So, and it's why they still use it to this day, is because of how recognizable it is. I mean, it's the same thing with any of these other brands that these companies scoop up. They scoop them up because of brand recognition, and they know that the brand recognition is going to sell. And it's the exact same reason that we've all talked about it, and Chris has talked about this as well. That's why that Barbie movie did so damn well, because of brand recognition. If it was titled anything else but Barbie, that thing would have freaking tanked.
Yeah. And it's also crazy. But real quick though, this is the point I was going to make too, because on top of everything else, look what they're doing. There's still like that nepotism is in this industry as well. You have somebody that he was known for doing stuff in the past that people liked. They hired him to do this disgusting cover, which is completely inaccurate. The composition's off, anatomy's off. Everything is pure shit. And I know a lot of people already ripped this thing apart as well, because I was going to do a draw over and really show you every major issue. But
Wolverine looks like a dwarf.
Look at Cookie Monster.
Yeah,
right.
Me one cookie. It is, but this is the shit that they're pushing. This is a variant cover, and some of the comic shops are like, okay, I want the variant of X-Force. Most of them haven't even seen it. They checked it off because they know that X-Men and X-Force, this shit sells. And could you imagine they get this in their hands in the shop? Like, what the? This ain't gonna sell, and now I'm stuck with a whole bunch of this other crap because I had to order like 100 copies or whatever in order to get one copy of this one. You know what I mean? And instead of hiring people who actually have talent, because again, that's what they do. They gatekeep. This is what they do. It's disgusting. And I'm sorry, like Mark Millar, he has a good grasp on what's going on, but there's still things he's avoiding or he's not talking about. And it's not to be unfair to him, because he's been very fair in how he wants this stuff to grow again. But it has to be more realistic in the approach, where you got to be tough as well. I said it. All editorial needs to be cleaned out. These scumbags who've been destroying the industry for at least 15, almost 20 years, they need to be removed. You have top talent people, get them in there. But you should have them sign new contracts as well. If they start to push agenda in their politics, they get shit canned. If they fight with people online regarding those type of topics, they should get shit canned. This is a business. Why?
There should be also another thing too. When you hire, and I agree with you, they should all be removed, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know the story with the editors I worked with, but there should also be a clause in everyone that's hired in these new businesses that there has to be a certain percentage or accomplishment mark where if your product does not sell above a certain level, you no longer have any projects, or you go back to apprenticeship with somebody else who performs. Do not give money to people who don't perform.
I'm happy you said that, because Jim Shooter had done that. If your book didn't sell X amount of copies that month, they would cancel the book. And that's why I think everyone, Jim Shooter, when he left, they were all dancing the fucking jig. I'm sorry, that guy was the reason why comic books were great in the 70s and 80s and early 90s or whatnot, or before he left. It's crazy what they did. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had the trade paperback. He's the one that said, yeah, we should collect these beautiful stories. Why is it just, the monthly, when that story's done, we just move on? He goes, no, we should give people a chance to find those older copies or whatever. How do we do it? Oh, let's put them in a collected format.
Well, if it wasn't for him, also, my favorite franchise might not have had the success that it did because he's the one that wrote that whole freaking backstory about the freaking history of the Transformers, how they get started and everything. And that thing stood for over 20 plus years as the de facto canon for the Transformers. So,
Tommy,
a lot of respect for that guy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got respect for him.
The backstory for Transformers starts in grade school. Then, when they get into college, the transformation is complete.
Not those
thought we had told you this before.
Wrong ones.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Well, just my thing is like looking at it from like a marketing perspective. You know, like trying. You know, like part of one of my former jobs was to, you know, analyze trends, marketing trends, and see, you know, how do you capitalize on things. And I'm sorry, but like long form media is not for kids. It's for us Zoomers, or it's for the Gen Xers, the older millennials, barely, and then like the boomers. Well, everything now has been co-opted by the dopamine hits of those 20-second, 30-second, minute-long TikToks or a quick bite YouTube.
I would agree with the phone situation. Definitely created that stuff, but what those retailers were saying as well, they said it's harder to sell a 4-issue miniseries than it is something that would go 12 issues or more. And he says, and this is the problem with the mainstream companies, is that they want to do these quick little things and these reboots. And he goes, and every time they do a reboot, and here's a new issue number 1, yeah, it'll have a pop. But every time that they do that, like where they did it like with the Captain Marvel comic book, like 12 or 13 times, every time they do, that new number 1 is less and less and less and less. It's not as big of a pop anymore. Or when they go, oh yeah, here's a new Spider-Man book, here's a new adjective in the front of it, and bam, you know, they're expecting 500,000 sales or something. It ain't happening anymore. Because people like they lost their taste for it. Because here's the thing: if you have shit quality, you're not gonna be able to sell. When the when the quality's high, people come back and they pick up these things.
Well, the reason why I say this is because, again, analyzing trends. Back in the 80s, there was a nostalgia trip for the 60s. Okay. We had, you know, actually the 50s, kind of American Graffiti. Like basically it was like boomer nostalgia, you know, the people who are now parents or whatever got a lot of like, you know, greaser films and like all this stuff that's like, you know, from the 50s and 60s from their childhood essentially. And it was like, oh, okay, fine. And then about 20 years ago, we started getting the Gen X kind of nostalgia bait where, you know, it's still kind of filtered in even today with Stranger Things and like all these like retro 80s stuff. But our culture died. We don't have any interest after like the 80s or like the, you know, the night, like there's no like 2000s like period pieces. You know what I mean? Like we're past that window now, or that point in marketing where the millennials are now parents, and we're still seeing Gen X shit. We're not seeing any like, you know, nostalgia for the 2000s. There's no like, you know, TV show that's set in like 2005 or whatever, or, you know, or anything to that degree. And that's where I'm really worried because, you know, with the advent of the social media and the phones and the psyops from China and all this shit, like, again, it goes back to long form entertainment is not for, you know, the younger groups. I mean, they sit there and they get transfixed on their shitty cell phones or, you know, iPads, and there's no like, I mean, granted, there's always outliers. There's always like the one spike where it's like, oh my God, they made a Peppa Pig movie. Everybody's going to go watch it, you know? But like the majority of our marketing is now in a aging demographic. It's not for the 20 somethings, for the rainbow haired fruitcakes that those generations have been turned into. They're looking more towards older people stuff if they even give a shit about it. Most of them are just flipping through their phones, zombieing out. Really disturbing to see what our culture has become.
Oh, I know, because like you said, there's shows and stuff we talk about, and you know, it's like, oh yeah, did you get it on DVD or Blu-ray? Because you know, it's not going to be there anymore. And you're right, this newer stuff, Oh, I can't wait. I downloaded that my favorite YouTubers podcast. Like, you think they're gonna re-listen to that in 5-10 years and be like, this was
like
a classic?
Disposable.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen. That's a fair point as well. But some of these things, because those retailers said it too, because he asked, like, who's looking for books and like what's really selling. They said a lot of back issues are selling, and he goes, oh, so it's mostly like the older people, right? And they went, no, it's actually a mix. It's like a 50-50 split. And he went, really? Because that's interesting. I didn't think that younger people were still looking for back issues. And they said, yeah, because they heard these stories are actually good. And they want to see what was the hype about some of the stuff. And he goes, and they're returning. They said that their long boxes, they have to keep trying to refill them because people are coming in and they're looking for the good stuff. They're looking for single issues or certain runs that were really amazing. If they can't find on trade paperback, they would know. Or even if they do, they want the actual copies of those older books. That says a lot.
Well, the trades are essentially what manga is doing. Yeah. Like when I was doing some research, for my own project here, I was like, holy crap, the amount of content you need to stuff into one of those freaking, just one volume of manga is like a minimum of like 200 pages. So it's like, how the hell do you fill 200 pages of like that's a shit ton of comics, like especially when the majority of them are like 32 pages a pop. Right. So you could do an entire Civil War arc or whatever your storyline is in one book. And as you were mentioning earlier about like the trade paperbacks, kind of like, somebody was responsible for that and that whole composition thing. Honestly, I think that would be what saved comics if they had new artists or basically like remasters, essentially like how they're remastering all video games now because there's no game designers in video games anymore.
They're doing something similar. They're taking key issues of books that sold over the years of first appearances, like the first appearance of Wolverine and that Hulk issue and whatnot, and they're putting it on better paper and they're releasing it at like $3.99, $4.99. And I talked to the comic shop guy last time I was there, and he says there's a new wall of that stuff. And he goes, and they keep selling out. He spent over $400 restocking, and he goes, and they're still selling out. So that again,
remember when they would do the free comic giveaways? I forget when exactly it is. They still do it, but a lot of those they were getting a lot of those like older classic prints for. The free comic giveaway day, and they said, every single one of those things was gone because people were coming in for those type of free comics.
Yeah. Well, here's something that I'm experimenting with, and I'll tell you whether or not it's a success or a failure based on my next campaign, based on the sales. But what if, you got a modern artist, like what if, they contracted you, grab that issue of Incredible Hulk where you first meet Wolverine. Replicate the entire issue. I'm talking panel to panel, everything in your art style. Right. Do you think that would sell better to the younger kids because it's modern art and sure, you can put on better, like the old stuff on better paper quality and all that stuff. But I'm talking
if you actually have better artists, people because again, for at the time those things had a certain look, but you're right. Styles have changed. People's tastes have changed. They want more detail. They want certain things. And it depends, too. It just could be a different style all around that if people gravitate towards it, But, I'm interested to see that, too. I think it would sell, to be quite honest.
Because honestly, if you want to get kids, kids don't like old. And especially the way we've been demoralized now. We've been taught to hate. The 20-somethings have been taught to completely disrespect and disregard the boomer, their predecessors. Yeah. Give them a shiny new coat of paint on something that a strong, solid foundation. So you've got good storytelling and you got like today's modern kick-ass artists. So it's all flashy. I mean, we're talking like everything looks metallic and airbrush and whatever whatever. Us old folk will look at it and go, puh. They're all relying on Photoshop magic, like that's over digitized, blah, blah, blah. But to the kids, they shit themselves and be like, this is awesome.
That's not always entirely true, though, either, Chris. Before IDW went completely to shit, they had actually went back and they picked up where the original Transformers comic series had left off, and they called it what they called it, Resurrection or whatever it was. It was basically they were bringing that original comic run back from where it left off, and it sold really well. It sold really, really well. Unfortunately, we all know what happened with IDW, and then they wound up destroying that storyline as well, because that's just what they did. But initially that did really well, and it wasn't just the old heads who would buy it; it was the younger crowds that were buying it too. Because here we go, you're redoing the older stuff, and they even did it in the same art style and everything. They didn't really give it a new shiny coat of paint, and that did really well. So I think it really depends on the content of the stories and everything that they're giving these people, and that's what's going to bring people in. Like Vinny said, the older classic ones sell because they had better stories and they had people that actually cared about the project they were working on.
But the retro novelty wear, it's kind of like what happened in video games, where like the pixel, like the when everybody went indie and they're like, hey, look, let's make a 16-bit sprite Metroidvania or whatever, and they're like, oh, that's a novelty. But then the old novelty wears off. The story itself is great, like the gameplay and everything is great, but they need a better modern veneer. And again, this is an experiment. This isn't like I'm completely arguing in theory. I have nothing to back what I'm saying up. But I would just be curious to see if we got like a retelling of that exact same story, panel for panel. Don't fuck with what's already there. Don't put your own weird stink. A lot of artists love to do that, as they put their own spin on art, and it's like, no. Wolverine has these colors. He has mutton chops. He's not a black guy. All that stuff. Just do that. Make it faithful, and I would love to see what those numbers would generate. I would almost love to see it if somebody did that on Kickstarter.
It'd be an interesting thing, but I don't know necessarily, because here's the thing too. Because clip art studio and shit, there's a lot of cheap things and these things that they're doing, because I've seen it multiple times and it's turned me off, and I've talked to other people as well, and a lot of them like, it's cheap, but if there's something that they really like, they'll jump on it. Here's the thing, it does have to look good, but if you had the old timers actually teaching younger people, new talent, the basics again, the foundations, how to draw, anatomy, perspective, all these things, storytelling, composition. These elements are key in order to doing this job, and most of these people don't know how to do it. So they'll use like these cheap scams from those programs. But if they don't know proper composition and storytelling, it's not going to fucking work. You know what I mean? Because that's the other issue I think we have in this industry, that as things are going the way that they are, we still need, again, to pass that torch. And if the torch isn't being passed, it's going to get watered down. It's going to be crap. You're going to have, like we've seen in the indie scene, anyone who thinks that they can make some money with a half a fart of an idea. Oh, I want to make a comic book, and they don't know the first thing about doing it. So and that's what's kind of littered this industry. Look at the cover I just showed you before, and that's someone who's in the industry for like 20-something years. And like, to me, I was never wowed by his stuff. There's a handful of things I've seen where it's all right, that's pretty good, but I was never a fan of that guy's stuff, and it looked cheap to me. And look what time proved what he had done. It's shit. It's phoned in, and that's someone actually I met a couple of times too. Like I said, not a bad guy, just a weird guy. But they think that they're rock stars. They think that they're untouchable, and these editors treat them the same way. You need tough people in there. Show that piece to Larry Hama. That guy would have ripped him to shreds. That cover would have never been released looking like that. You get people with actual talent in the industry, or people like, but the old guard has died out. They replaced them with these pink-haired, again, canceled pigs and everything else, and they're pushing other stuff. So, I mean, it goes back to clean house, and then get people who are still around, who know what they're doing, to help kind of hone a new breed of talent. Because there are talented people out there. There's a handful of books I've been getting where I'm like, all right, I'm getting it because the artwork is so amazing. And it so happens like the stories have been working as well. Like the Conan run. Like, that's an amazing artist. The one that Mark Millar works with, who did Big Game. Pepe Larza, I think his name was. There's a couple of really amazing people out there. We need stuff like that. We need them to maybe teach others as well. Like, I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it, but I think I'm gonna have to switch over to Rumble. Chris had to get going. I didn't scare him away from the conversation. He's been leaving around this time.
I just want to point this out though. Mm-hmm. I put it in the chat too on my end, but yeah, you can't let these cultural vampires win either. I mean, we can't get you can't get yourself so black-pilled that you get to the point where there's no hope, there's no point in fighting for it, because once that's what they want you to do. They want you to get so turned off by what they're doing. They want you to get so demoralized that you just give up and walk away. And you can't do that either. That's why you gotta take the time to stand up, do an outlaw Josie Wales, get a little bit of chew, get your Jesse Ventura on, because you don't want to be a slack jaw bundle of sticks.
That's right.
I did it right that time, Finney. I didn't do the bad one. And spit right in her eye like the outlaw Josie Wales spit on that dog throughout that movie. That's what you got to do. You just got to give it right back to them.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're doing. But the thing is, there's also the infighting nonsense that we've seen. And I'm happy to see a lot of people are sick of it. And if they don't call it out, they're at least walking away from it. Granted, there's a lot of people that are just kind of going into their own little groups and whatnot, but we still need some kind of connection between creators to help promote and push one another, because it's very little of that has been happening as well. And it's sad, because there are great projects out there and no one really wants to support one another anymore. There's a lot of the Whisper Network shit that had happened that ruined a whole bunch of what people are doing, myself included. It's like it's ridiculous how much we're all getting hurt because of the nastiness of what these these fake fucks have been doing. These little heads of these groups, they came into it with good intentions, but what did they do? They replaced everybody with retired people from the industry. We helped build it all, and then they tried to attack all of us and try to put poison in everyone's little group and everyone's little circle. And they still kind of continue to do that. But I am happy more people are waking up to it. I know I called it out not too long ago, maybe like a year and a half ago. And yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. They try to send people over onto my channel to try to dogpile me. And when they saw that, they agreed with me. I had more likes than dislikes. I had more subscribers because of it, and I heard from a bunch of creators who thanked me for exposing some of the bullshit. And it's because it's like enough's enough, because it's not about comics to these people. They want to destroy businesses and they want to destroy lives, and it's sick. Whatever people do after that, I mean, that's all on them. But like I said what I had to say about it, and I'm tired of it, because I said both sides do it, the mainstream and the indie scene, and I couldn't tell you which side's worse, because again, you have corporations that are paying attack dogs, and then you have the other ones where they have they're cultists basically attacking creators. It's crazy, the number of stalking and everything else that's happened, and you name it, some fucking weird shit had happened. And that's why I said, I just want I'm a creator, period. I'm an independent creator. My company is my company. It's Millar Art World. I don't need any other bullshit. If there's good creators and there's good people, yeah, let's talk. Let's push each other's stuff.
Your company is your bond.
Yeah, but the other stuff that they're pulling is something else entirely. And then you have the superstar nonsense too. You have the people who think that they're rock stars and they could attack fans, and no, that's not right either. The only time I've blocked anyone or I didn't want to fucking hear it is when it was they try to do personal attacks instead, or just make a bullshit, or they took someone else's narrative and they're not hearing logic. I'm well, then there's no point talking to them, because there's no winning them over. There's no changing their view. If they're brainwashed, they're brainwashed. It's open your eyes, see the wrong that other people have done, and then weigh that out. Try to go into it neutral, and then look at both sides, and you see what's right and what's wrong. It's not that complicated.
And remember, don't give in to these people. Don't take the Nate. Don't be Colin Kaepernick.
Exactly. We're gonna jump over to Rumble because there's some other stuff I want to show before we close this one out. So there's the link to Rumble. Click on that link. Get over there because we're saying goodbye to YouTube right now. Yeah, it's
did you send that to both chats or did you just send it to yours?
Bye YouTube.
Grab that link, Tommy, and drop it in yours as well. I switched it earlier. Shit, you're right. Yeah, drop it in yours if you could. But yeah, Red Dress Press. Yeah, thank you guys for popping in as well. Yeah, hop on over to the Rumble side, and yeah, we're gonna say goodbye to YouTube because I don't like YouTube right now, and the stuff we're gonna talk about we can't show. So goodbye YouTube. All right, it's closed on my end over there. Tommy, I think you're gonna have to close yours as well. But yeah, we got Mr. Jones in the house as well.
That's right. Hey, Vinny.
How you doing?
I want to say thank you for having me on your show tonight, so we can talk about free speech.
That's right.
Damn liberals! I'm gonna eat their ass.